Welcome to the Seer Show. Join us as we dive into the dynamic world of health, wellness, mindset, and fitness with the unparalleled guidance of lifelong knowledge seekers, Sifu Rafael and Nikki Gangemi. Sifu and Nikki will unlock groundbreaking insights with extraordinary guests from around the globe. You'll get the latest holistic approaches to well-being with a sharp focus on the powerful connection between mind, body, and soul. Get ready to take the leap. It's time to embrace a brighter and healthier future with us at the Seer Show.
Good morning, Nikki. How are you today?
Good morning, Sifu. I'm doing excellent. And how are you?
I am exceptional, getting better every day.
Yes, you are.
You're not tired of me saying that, are you?
No. As if you didn't say it, it would like put a scratch in my record. And I go, wait a minute, what's wrong?
Well, I do say it not only for you to hear it, but for me to hear it, because I need to make sure that I continue to do that every day.
Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah, that repetition is important.
Oh, yeah. It's almost like my mantra, if you will.
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited for today. We have two super exceptional human beings who are going to be joining us. And our topic is really... it's going to be controversial, I think. Maybe not.
These days, it might be controversial, but I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Let's go ahead. Let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and bring Eric and Concetta. How are you?
Hi. Very well. Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome to the Seer Show. Excited for you to join us today. The topic is it's a little bit, it could get heated, and I can't wait for it. It is the collapse of human attention. Wow. What does that mean to anybody? Anybody want to share that? What does that mean to you?
I'll go first, I guess, at a personal level, since right now I'm kind of working on, at the creative level, trying to write screenplays and such. And, I don't know if you guys are familiar with what a vertical is, but a vertical are these series that's taken over the entertainment space, and they're producing a lot of them. Most of them are produced in China. But they're basically 3-minute clips, and they're vertical because people are capable of watching on their phone. And so it's like 3 minutes of absolute garbage, but it hooks you. And I think it's geared towards like Midwestern housewives, I think. But I think any kid can get into it because it's a very like quick 3 minutes, and then you have to watch the next one, and then watch the next one, and then at a certain point you have to pay them. But anyway, that is my thought process in terms of like short attention spans that now entertainment is being produced to fit that attention span.
Wow.
So that is the collapse of human attention. 3 minutes.
Yeah, 3 minutes consecutively. I think you get the first 10 minutes for free, or I guess the first 9 minutes for free. But
that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling.
So you're writing screenplays. You've written book. You have a studio where people come in and they're actual writers, and you created a space for people to come in and be creative.
Yes.
Is it a scary situation for everybody who's a creative writer to see that all this AI is taking over? I think Eric is freezing up a little bit.
Am I freezing up? Either that or I'm having a stroke. Can you hear me?
Yes, but every so often you freeze.
Let me see. Yeah, AI. I heard an AI question about writers using AI. Oh, sorry.
I'm going to give you an idea. I gave it to Nikki before. Go out and come back in and see if that'll do it. And if you have any other programs that are running, they're going to take bandwidth. And so StreamYard is finicky that way. So Concetta, what is your thoughts? I love what Eric was, the in-betweens that we got is that the movie industry, writers, and everybody else is a little bit terrified of what AI is doing. It's capturing everybody's attention away from the creativity that is real, that is human, if you will. And that we have Eric twice. Look at that. So Eric, now you look like you're much better in there. So I'm going to keep your other one on in case it goes back and forth. So what is your thought on that, Concetta?
Well, it's interesting. On one side, I'm really curious about understanding what is happening. First, I think we have to separate the content, let's say, and the development of the kind of content that we can access from what is happening to our attention, because actually our attention is changing a lot. It's changing a lot, but I don't think it's just because AI, but because we really have a lot of information available. Mm-hmm. And for us, it's difficult to understand what is important and what is not. Since everything comes from the same place, come under the same shape, it's really difficult for us to understand, is this relevant for me? And especially since a lot of people are writing more and more and producing also more content with AI, there is a lot of information that becomes redundant. So it's also difficult for us to understand, once we have a piece of information, how much relevant is for us, how much of that piece of information is new for us, or is just something that we've been listening again and again. So that's I think what is the challenge of attention for us now. And of course the content is changing and it's also adapting. And I think that it's both for human produced and also AI produced. AI, of course, can produce even more information. That's why I think, for me, like that's the problem, the real problem with AI, because it's multiplying information at a pace that is like not human.
Yeah.
So Eric, if you can expand on what you were talking about, the 3-minute reels, the vertical reels, if you will, if you can expand on that, because we kind of got the gist of it, but we didn't get the full story. So if you could do it again, I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, they're just these 3-minute clips of a full story, but they show you 3 minutes of it on a vertical level so that, it's easy to expect people to be watching it on their phones. But I've only seen them like on YouTube, I guess in a reel. But they're always like stories, like kind of like Twilight. You know how Twilight, or sorry, 50 Shades of Grey was like Twilight fan fiction. It's kind of like at that, a lesser level even than that. It's total schlock. But you watch it and then it tries to hook you with a very like clear, like, I don't know, this poor girl like wooing this very rich, I don't know, man, like, I don't know, Jane Eyre, but like trashy. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And they do it, and they're mainly come out of China. And so they're not even written particularly well because they take it Chinese. It's written in Chinese, and then they Google translate it using AI. So like, but it's funny because that is a lot of the industry now. I know a lot of like actors who are just trying to break in, and people who've worked in the industry for like 10, 15 years. But that's where the money is now. And it sucks because that's kind of what they're gearing content towards. Like, I know even Netflix has like a rule. This is kind of on a different subject, but Netflix kind of has this thing now where they tell their writers, like, you need to repeat the plot and like at least 3 or 4 times during the movie, which writers would never learn because you don't want redundancy, right? But they're telling them that because they're like, yeah, but people are on their phones most when they're watching them Netflix, so they got to repeat for them, And I think that shows that. I think even companies now and content creators are like, yeah, we need to make sure that people are paying attention.
So what you're telling me is that it's no longer Netflix and chill. It's more Netflix and go.
Yeah, that's more understandable, at least, than Netflix and chilling.
I got you. Nikki,
Oh,
what are your thoughts so far?
oh God, I have so many thoughts. One of my thoughts in
Just one
particular,
at a
though, and that's a wrap. One of my thoughts is how I'm having a little hard of a time relating to this. And I think it's because of the mindfulness that I've made a part of my life. And I think this all comes down to awareness. Number one, you've got to be aware. So like Eric was saying, you could get sucked into these 3-minute verticals and they're designed to that. But when you know that, it's like snap out of it and choose something different. So I meditate twice a day. That's how I bookend my day, morning and night. I do so many different things, like deep breathing practices. So I feel like maybe I have a better focus than I would have if I just allowed all this stuff, to come in. So I think it's how we train ourselves. And I think we might have a little bit more agency over our focus than we might be made to believe, if that makes sense.
It does. It makes a lot of sense. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
When we think about human attention, it has definitely evolved into less. If you think back in the day, 1950s, or when even movies started coming out, people were lining up to go see this no sound movies, if you will, right? The silent movies, right? Wow, back in the day. And they were like, wow. And then it became something where you would do a drive in, right? You would drive your car, you put the things on your window and you can hear it. Anybody been to one of those? A drive-in? Oh my God, so much fun. Even nowadays, it's so much fun because it's a different experience. It really is. It's wonderful, but we have forgotten about it because it takes up a lot of space. You have to have a huge lot for all the cars. You have to have this big screen and you have to have all this wiring coming through for the speakers to come in and be clicked into your window so you can. Or now there are a few theaters still now that you can put your car to a certain station, right? So there's different ways of handling it, but they're very rare now. Does anybody know if there's one in their town? There's not one in my town. There's one several towns away, but I have not been to that one. But I think I need to go. I need to go check it out, right? Get that
I'd love to check it out.
Date night, friend night. Come on over.
Depends on the movie.
Right. I mean, it could be a cartoon. I mean, as long as you're just hanging out and enjoying each other's company, I think that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we have evolved from even the short movies, right? And they've gotten longer. And we've evolved from long podcasts like the Joe Rogan podcast to shorter podcasts. I was a guest. Are you ready for this? On a 1-minute podcast.
Wow.
When the guy said to me, would you want to be on my show? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I love doing shows with other people. He goes, okay, it's a minute. I'm like, what? A minute. Okay. So he asked me one question and I had like 38 seconds to answer it. And it was done. I was like, wow, that was interesting. And then I had somebody else ask me for a 3-minute podcast show. And I was like, okay, so I guess I get 2 questions. That one never went through, but the 1-minute one, that was interesting. But I don't think that there is any content or context to that show for me, right? Because you don't get to know the person who answered that question. You don't get to know the little details. So And Eric, one of the things that you do so well is you even wrote a book, and if you don't mind holding your book up as well, so that people may want to buy
Love
it, tell us where they can get it. It's
all.
The Power of Personality,
Yeah,
an incredible book. He handed it to me in person when I went to visit him in LA, and it was beautiful. We spent some time together, and then he even tell us about your book a little bit, because I think that the human attention is the most critical part in order for us to even get to know one another.
yeah. The book is basically it's a personality typing book. So if anyone's familiar with personality types, I'm sure a lot of people are. And it puts people into different animal personality types, but really it's about like the book itself is a manual to teaching people how to be a test, like a personality test, right? Because when you read most of these books, there's a test in the beginning and then the rest are prescriptions. But I've always felt that what if the diagnosis is wrong, then all the prescriptions can be quite harmful. So I think I wrote the book to kind of focus more on the methodology and less on specific prescriptions. And I hope that people take the time to understand the people around them better, because the idea of the book is not to put people in boxes, but it's just to constantly get more information about the people around you. And with that more information, then you might change your opinion of someone's personality type. So really, it's just about that process. And I think in regards to attention span, I work with a lot of clients, and a lot of my clients are, like maybe 11 or 12, like in terms of age, because that's kind of like when parents are like, I don't know what to do with this kid. And yeah, go ahead, take them, And I think what I'm finding with a lot of those kids is that they just don't have any bit of attention span to even understand the things around them, because the things they want come in a minute reel, and it's like something being told to them and thrown at them very quickly, and then they move on to the next thing. And I think that's the scary part is I'll talk to kids and try to like tell them about storytelling, and most of them have actually never seen a movie. And I find that fascinating that they've never seen a movie. They might have read a book, but it was probably forced on them by a teacher at school, and they only read one chapter. And, so to relate it back to personality, I think that just when you stop taking the time to understand the world around you, because everything's given to you, I think that's when we stop understanding the people too.
You have one of your fans here, Gina Manola. Hi, Gina. Thank you for joining us. And she's Eric. So you talked about earlier before we came live about the different animal types, and some people don't want to be categorized as a beaver. Some people, hey, I'm a fox, or I'm an elephant, or I'm a panda. Would you give us the sexier animal types, and then the ones that people don't want to be known as?
Well, definitely the sexiest animal type is the fox, for sure. I think they're like the cool, suave, like people think of them like James Bond, right? Like they're very good in the moment. Han Solo, they're a little roguish. I think that's like the one that everybody wants to be. Now, I think they just make things look fun and cool and easy. It's not like that in general. They're like the duck that's floating on the top of the water, and they're like underneath the water, they're doing that. So that would probably be the most attractive one to be in. Probably, the beaver just sounds kind of boring. I think a lot of people read that description, they're like, gosh, I'm like so boring. But that's like a lot of times, like there's certain personality types that are more populous in the population. And I think people want to be unique ones and different ones until they're not, until they are the unique person. And then they feel like that social pressure to be like everyone else. So I think I always tell people who are in like kind of the ones that make up a large percentage of the population, like you should be happy because you kind of gotten that golden ticket. Like life is going to be easier for you.
Right. That's interesting. So Concetta, as a social scientist, what does what Eric just said do to your brain?
What do you mean about which kind of? Because Eric told a lot of interesting things, of course.
The different personality types based on an animal.
So actually, like, I'm very interested in the personality aspect, but actually, when I think about attention, I really kind of don't consider so much personality, just because, as Eric was saying, they change a lot based on how we change the practice, we change the strategies, we change. And like a fun fact for me, for example, was that when I moved to the Netherlands, I started working in a company, big company, and the first thing that I got, of course, it was a personality test. But at that moment, I was still learning English for some reasons, because in Italy at that time it was possible to just study one language, and for me it was French. So 15 years of French and no English at all. So I moved here, and when I was learning the language, like my personality, the resulting personality was like totally different. I said, I don't recognize myself in this. But because evidently I was trying to adapt and doing some things that actually was leading me to be that kind of personality. And then in 9 years, I got at least 4 different results, because I was start doing something different. I was integrating more with other people, being more able to talk and to express, and not only just express what I was thinking, but also the way, like being more ironic, being more like I am. So it is really interesting, but it's something that really changed a lot. And I appreciate really like also the fact that Eric said we want something that is a bit more dynamic, instead of saying, yeah, that's it and that's it forever. And because, yeah, I believe, and also as Nikki said, we also have some kind of agency on how we behave, what we do, the attention that we are able to put in everything we do. So it's interesting. It's very interesting. Yeah.
No doubt. I love that you shared with us that you felt a little bit different when you went to a different country because the language made you feel different. And that's the environment change, right? The
Yeah.
acclimation, if you will, took you some time for you to start to feel yourself again. And
Yeah.
I guess you can even see that in the wild, right? If you take an animal and you take it from its environment and you put it somewhere else, which is totally different, it's going to start looking around. It's going to maybe go in a corner, um, but until it takes time for it to adapt, right? How long would you say it took you to adapt? Because it's a new language, new people, new environment, new foods, even, right?
Yeah, actually, there are a lot of differences that are also invisible. That it takes still a lot of time for me to understand like a different culture. Like in Italy, we do something like also small thing. For example, when you're walking down the street and there is a car passing by, they always stop and let you pass, like cross the street. Always, always. And I've been living in Rome for almost 20 years, and there no one will stop. No one. Even it's crazy. You have to really, really be super, super like alert. And I got so used to that that I still have to get used to this fact that you are supposed to cross the street, because otherwise that person is like wasting their own time, because you are supposed to
Yeah.
go first. So it's like, and it's not just that, of course, there are a lot of difference also in the way we work. For example, the biggest one for me is that in Italy, the more you work and the more it seems that you are dedicated. So, I mean, the more hours you will stay in an office, for example, and the more you seem to be dedicated and reliable. But here, like if you have to stay 8 hours, after 8 hours and 1 minute after, it's already too much, because it's really like the work ethic is to like respect the timing that you have to, like the hours that you are supposed to work. And so there are a lot of things that are difficult to, even if we like look similar, it seems that we are so close that there are not differences, but actually there are. So it's nice. It's very fascinating. Yeah.
It sounds like Rome is very much like New York, where nobody stops. And also, not only do they not stop, they actually on purpose try to hit you with their car. But, that's different.
Yeah, I've gotten that impression when I've gone to New York.
But here's the thing that I appreciate you telling us the differences, because what I'm seeing is that they respect each other more than
Yeah.
in most places. So there's that respect for human life. There's that respect that, hey, you know what? You worked 8 hours. That's it. Go home, be with your family, enjoy your life, because work is great, but you have to be happy in order to be more productive. So I think happiness equals more productivity. And in so many countries, it's the other way around. Be miserable, work harder, and give us everything you have, and then go home and have nothing, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
True. True. That's so true. But that's also, I think, what there is something related also with AI, because for these people who really identify their value with productivity, with how productive they are, like having a tool that, like, all of the sudden remove everything that you had to do, is kind of an identity problem more than a technological problem. So you
And
have to really rethink about yourself. Like once you remove everything that was like, yes, that's me. Someone that works so hard and is always busy, never resting. And yeah, you start thinking about yourself. What am I? What stays aside all these things that usually define me?
Mm, mhm.
Yeah, that's very, very fascinating also.
if you guys allow me, let me share this with you. Take a look. You followed the rules, tried the restrictions, counted the carbs, the steps, and the failures. You're not lazy, you're exhausted from doing it all without real change. What if the problem isn't you, but the plan? Sifu's Mind Body Method is a 90-day transformation built on 7 unshakable pillars: mindset, movement, nutrition, hydration, fasting, journaling, and faith. This isn't another shortcut. It's your structure, your strength, your reset. You don't need harder, you need better. Ready to begin? Start today. Ta-da!
Ta-da.
When we think about human attention, I believe a lot of people are now looking at how can we make it so that we grab their attention, because now it's harder.
Mhm.
Eric, you mentioned that the kids that you work with have never seen a movie. I have camps for kids, and we actually show them a movie. And then we act on it. So we have fun with it, right? So we do a lot of different things. So I have these 5 to 12-year-olds coming in, and they're watching a movie. They're sitting there together. And then sometimes even after the movie, I'll pause it, they'll dance. So they're active, they're doing all these things. But I think the attention span of adults has become the same attention span of a 2-year-old.
I love that.
Uh,
It should be the other way around, right?
mhm. Yeah, it should be. I think it's all in how you're trained. You know, I look at my niece, now she's 2 years old, but I can remember maybe 6 months ago when I was impressed at how long she had her attention on this. It was a learning toy that taught you how to buckle and pull apart. And I'd watch her and she would have her like 10 minutes. And I'm thinking, isn't she bored yet of doing this? I think naturally we have that focus and attention. And then the more time she spends on an iPad playing all these games, I think that attention is going to become shorter and shorter. So I think it's in how we train ourselves.
Yeah, there's a great quote from Nietzsche, I think, who says like true maturity consists in regaining the seriousness one had as a child at play. And I think adults we also tend to forget that, and kids unfortunately are kind of being removed from that as well. Is like, I think, you know, what he means by that is finding something you're really passionate about and that you have real purpose, and that is going to take up your attention and it's going to feel like you're playing, right? And I think kids, at least in the past, were able to do that with whatever imaginary thing they were creating. But now, since they're being force-fed stuff and everything is just so available and they don't have to work for it as much, then it becomes less of a passion and more of just a sensation, like a momentary, like, oh, I see a cat jumping off a cliff or whatever, you know, or I see a mukbang and people just shoving food in their mouths. And I think adults are like that too, as you mentioned, Rafael. Like adults, we also maybe lose passion for life. We kind of don't have a purpose. So we kind of just like, even if we're at work, we're just looking at the TikTok or the latest YouTube reel. So I think that might be the reason why, is that we just don't have things that we love anymore and that we feel that we can do and motivate us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good point.
I love the fact that you mentioned that we get bored and therefore we lose attention fast. And somebody recently said, oh, I'm bored. And my solution for them was go learn something.
Mm.
I don't want to learn something. I'm tired. So what they're doing is making excuses, and they want to be entertained by what? I'm bored. I'm going to grab my phone. I'm going to do something that I have to do nothing. I don't have to use my mind. I don't have to use my body. So can I watch something that's going to just satisfy me and I don't have to think? And so when I say go learn something, what are you, crazy? Go, I know so much already. Really? You don't think so? And I said to them, I said, you know, do yourself a favor and learn something that you've watched other people do well. And you go, oh, I wish I could do that. And no, you will no longer be bored. So boredom comes from the capacity of staying where you are.
Yeah.
And when we can expand that, I'm never bored. By the way, I am a kid. I am that looks at something and I'm like, oh yeah, how do you take this apart? How is this going to work? For me, that's what excites me. That's what really does it for me. How do I understand something? So for me, it's always, how can I learn something? And then how can I understand it better? So I am that kid. I'm that Toys R Us kid. If anybody doesn't know what Toys R Us is, I know they closed a bunch, but they recently opened up a new one a couple of years away from me. And they closed them all in the US, but now there's one that opened up and supposedly it was a big success. I didn't go to it yet, but my heart is there.
Yeah.
I have to say also that like boredom especially for young people, is also something that actually they don't know how to be curious. And when you're not familiar with an emotion, with a strategy in general, they never had to be curious because they have everything. You get curious when you don't have stuff, so you have to figure out. I remember that I probably never had a toy when I was young, when I was a child, and I just like keep drawing it, thinking that I had it. And I'm convinced that I've been having that toy, but I don't even know if it's true. Because I've been super curious about stuff because I didn't have so much. But now they always have already the answer. They always have already everything. So they don't have to develop the curiosity as a strategy to deal with things because they don't need it. So when they are bored, actually, they don't know which kind of resources they have to go and pick because that should be curiosity or enthusiasm, but they don't have it. And that's kind of, and as also Nikki said, maybe it's something that we can learn and something that you can like try to activate and then let them know, let them experience actually what curiosity is, so that when you are bored, you know what to do. Otherwise, it's very difficult to get, because you can get bored also of learning. You can get bored of everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah,
partly
curiosity.
or,
Go ahead, Eric.
the education system focuses so much on information and like feeding facts to kids and then having them regurgitate. But now it's this technology makes all those facts and information available that it's easy for kids now. So all they're not really told like have to be creative or be ingenuous or express ingenuity. And I think that's causing that whole problem, right? Is that kids aren't really pushed in a way that they used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, being that you just mentioned that, Eric, you work with kids and kids who haven't seen movies. Do you show them movies? Do you say, look at what you can explore, or do you have them do writing things so that they can become more creative? Because I think creativity is what stops boredom, right? How do you handle kids who are not connected? And when I say that, is because I work with kids all the time as well. And I work with autistic kids as well. I have a 25-year-old that I work with. He comes in, he doesn't want to talk to me. He wants to look at his phone. That's his engagement. He thinks he's like, "Hi, Sifu, how are you?" And then he just gets on his phone. I'm like, "Wait a minute. So let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do that." Okay. And then he's like this. He's looking down. And so I'm always, and then every so often, I'll put him on an exercise bike. So he'll get on the bike, he'll put on his phone, but he's got the mind of a 2-year-old, so he is engaging in cartoons or something of that nature. And every so often he will look up at me and he'll go, and I'll go, "Great job, keep going," or I'll engage with him. But how do we help someone who is not autistic? Because he will be trapped in that world of, and he goes anywhere from 2 to 12.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Was that a question at me? Sorry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because you work with kids too.
Oh
right?
yeah, I do. I am a kid myself, as you mentioned. You're a kid. Yeah, I was, like working with kids, I think is simple and complex, right? Because I think we were all kids one day, but we sometimes forget that. So I was just trying to think, what would I think, or how would I think then, and put it into perspective. And I think the kids I work with, they want fun, they want to learn. It's just that they're not really being shown a way, right? They're just being told, oh, you're getting rewarded for doing well in school by remembering these things. So like, why would they ever have to read a story unless it was for like homework or a grade or a book report? And when they're told, it's just to like remember facts in the book versus like actually enjoying the idea of like growth in a story. So yeah, when I start with them, they might not have ever seen a movie before, but we watch them and I'll pause like every like 10 seconds or something, which is a little frustrating, I think. But I can show them like Star Wars. I mean, most of them haven't even seen Star Wars, and I'll pause it and say, "What does this mean? What does this mean?" And it's really just helping them engage at that level, because they're probably just not used to it. But it doesn't mean they're not capable of doing it. I think it's just like almost slowing down the world for them, and that really does help quite a bit.
Nice.
Mhm.
You made me think of going to the movies. There's such an incredible experience going to a movie theater, sitting down, maybe even getting some popcorn, and just sitting back and enjoying a movie, right? I've been to all kinds of movie theaters. I've been at world premieres. I've sat with celebrities at a world premiere, at red carpet events. And it doesn't matter if the movie was terrible or if the movie was amazing.
Mm.
The feeling I get, I am the biggest kid. I saw the world premiere of E.T. before, like 3 weeks before anybody was able to see it in the public, right? So I am dating myself, yeah. E.T. I was able to see movies with a bunch of different celebrities, and it was their world premiere before other people were able to see it. It didn't matter to me that the celebrities were sitting around me. I was enjoying the movie. And then some of the people that were in the movie were sitting in the audience with me. So that was kind of cool, right? But then I was able to talk to them and engage with them and ask them questions and all these things. But it doesn't matter, because a lot of times, for example, my fiance does not like going to the movies. So every so often I will go to the movies by myself
Mm.
because I just want to get that experience.
Yeah.
Here's the cool thing I'm going to share with you guys. She recently said, "Hey, the Elvis Presley movie's coming out. Do you want to go see it?" I'm like, yes, yes. And we went to the theater, and we pre-ordered the tickets, right? And it's like 2 weeks or something. And I was going to pay for it. She goes, no, I want to pay for it. It was my idea. I'm like, not only do I get to go to the movies, but I'm being treated. I'm like, oh, yes. So it was a win-win for me in so many ways. But that's the kid in me, right? That I enjoy sitting down and watching a movie, right? I'd rather sit in a movie theater than sit at home and watch a movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was more about the experience for you. It sounds like it's where you chose to put your focus was on the entire experience of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There was recently in a movie theater here in Los Angeles, they actually ban cell phones. So they actually, I mean, I know they tell you, like most theaters will tell you politely, please put away your cell phone. But this is a movie theater owned by Quentin Tarantino, and we all know Quentin Tarantino loves and takes it very seriously. So then, there's footage. I guess I saw it on a YouTube reel or something. Footage of a guy actually getting kicked out by the cops because he had taken his phone out during it was a double feature, and I think during the first feature he had his phone on and he was looking at it. So people obviously complained for the second feature. Yeah, they brought him out. The cops came in and they just pulled him out of there.
Wow.
That's called serious.
But it is kind of rude though, because you were talking about experience. Like, at least if you're like not paying attention in the courtesy of your own home, you're not bugging anyone. But having your phone on when other people are trying to like focus, and obviously a phone is super bright in a dark theater.
Yeah.
Like, people were cheering when the cops were taking him out. And in LA, people don't always cheer for the cops. But in this case, they're super happy. They're just like, get that fool out of here.
Right.
Talk about a movie experience, the Rocky Horror Movie Show, right? Anybody been to it? Where the audience is very active. They bring all these things, and at certain times they're throwing popcorn, they're throwing things. So it's a very active movie. And it's this crazy, crazy movie, but it became almost like a cult. And whenever they had it, they knew the movie theater said, oh, we got to clean up afterwards. We can't have one show after the other, because people came in knowing that there was going to be a mess afterwards, because it was fun. People were doing things. They were throwing popcorn on purpose, and it wasn't just one person. It was everybody. So everybody was engaged. Everybody knew that this was going to happen, and they brought different things to do it. And the Rocky movie, Rocky Horror Movie Show. If you've never experienced it, and if they ever have it in any theater near you, even if you don't bring the stuff to throw, you need to go to experience it. It's interesting. I never brought stuff. I never threw stuff, but I enjoyed it. You know, it was so much fun.
I'll make sure if I go, which I don't think I will, I'll sit in the very last seat, so I don't have to have things hitting my head as people are throwing things.
Well, how about the blue group show, right? The Blue Man group, right? If you sit within the first 10 rows, they give you a tarp, a clear tarp, because they're gonna throw paint and all this stuff at you, right? Have anybody ever seen that? I sat, I think it was in the 18th row, just to make sure, because I knew that was going to happen. So I said, I want to be close enough, but not that close so I get all this paint on me, right? So it was pretty interesting, because they bang drums, like this big gong of drums, but there's paint in it, and they banging it, and the paint's splattering, and it's going all over, and they do all this. It's a great, great show. And it's a very interactive show. I'm just telling you, I enjoy things. Anybody ever seen the show Cats on Broadway?
Yeah. In Broadway.
You actually, so did you actually experience the show Cats?
Yes.
What did they do? Tell us.
1998.
We were in the same theater, you and I.
Really? It was August. Yes, August.
Tell me about what your experience was like, because this is about human attention, because I think a surprise can take your attention and bring you into something. Tell us about your experience at the Cat show.
Yeah, it was incredible, of course. I've never seen something similar. So for me it was wow, it's incredible. But also, as you said, a lot of surprise. Of course, surprise is one of the biggest driver of attention. But also thinking about what you've been saying so far, it's also like the way we consume things like movies and experiences. We tend to do everything alone nowadays. And we kind of lose the ability to, it's everything asynchronous, and we just watch it alone, even if we have people close to us, but they are looking for, like, they are watching something different. And the very idea of consuming something together in a group, it's very, very different, because it like creates a different frame for everything that we receive as information. So it's also, we are more used to consuming things in groups. Also, like going to a club and dance is something that is getting less and less relevant also for young people, because they don't even want to stay together so much. And for us, it was really, really different. And it makes also attention easier, because we are all doing the same, and it's kind of induced in some ways.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Cats was beautiful.
I gotta tell you,
singing that song Memories forever, basically. Like years after, I was still singing the song.
the beauty about that is that if you think about cats, they're up in, if you had a cat, they'd be up in your bookshelf, it'd be running across your screen, it'd be in the back, it'd be on your head, it'd be everywhere, right? And so when I went to see the show Cats, I'm sitting there, and out of the woodwork came all these people dressed as cats, and they were crawling like over people, and they were on the ledges, and it was so interesting and so much fun that I was like, oh, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, there's somebody. We know it was a person but they were dressed as a cat, and they're like, oh my God, look over there, oh look, and it was like this experience of really being involved, and I think that's why we miss that opportunity. I think it's not happening for the kids anymore, like it happened. You talked about going dancing. I grew up in nightclubs. I grew up with all these different places that I used to go to and stuff like that. I was a bouncer at nightclubs. So I understand the beauty of that engagement, of dancing, of moving, of being with other people and just saying, hey, I see you again, right?
Yeah, think about, for example, the sound. When you go to a club, you experience the sound not just with your ears, but also with your body, because you feel actually, like especially the lower frequencies, you experience it on your body, and you can feel that. It's like a physical experience. And now we are not even used to anymore, because we are always used to hear, like listen to any sound, the music with earphones or headphones, and you are missing a huge part of experiencing sound. That's sad, I think.
Yeah.
And most reels, they even have, like, everyone always uses captions, right, on the reels, because they expect not even be listening to it. They just expect us to be looking at it on mute.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, before we go, let me share this with you guys so you can listen.
The city never sleeps, and neither do the dreamers who build its pulse. From every corner of the globe they come. Visionaries, creators, leaders, each carrying a spark ready to ignite the world. This is not an event. It's a revolution of rhythm and reason. A symphony of minds. A movement of momentum. Sifu, Rafael, Lancelot, Jose Escobar. Together they set the stage for brilliance. This is the NYC experience. Mastermind, light up the city. They coming from the east, coming from the west. Knowledge on deck, put the truth to the test. Leaders in motion, hearts in sync, dropping wisdom so deep it'll make you think. They bring stories, sweat and flame, different faces, one shared name. Elevation, that's the sound. NYC experience, mastermind, where purpose is found.
I saw you, Nikki. I saw you dancing.
I love that song. Oh, how good is that?
Well, who do you think put that song together, right? Because
You.
Creativity, I told you I don't get bored. And people go, what don't you do? I said, I don't get bored. That's what I don't do. I don't get bored. So that's happening in Tampa. We're going to Ireland. I know Concetta is going to be joining us in Ireland. Anybody who wants to join us in any of the events, just come join us. It's going to be, we always have fun. We bring the energy, and it's an experience, right? And one of the things that we don't do is we don't do short little things. We do things that expand, and so that we can capture your attention, right? That's the important part. Before we go, and I know we ran over, I'd love for everybody to share about a minute. Not only, I'm going to give you 2 minutes, because if you have time, Nikki, we can do it, because I don't have another show. Normally I have to run because I have another show.
I have at 10 o'clock. Yeah, so I'll be
10 o'clock. So we'll make it quick, right? So give us 30 seconds, your thoughts on today's show, and then I'm going to run your website across the bottom, and then you can share about your website, why somebody should connect with you. So Concetta, we'll let you go first.
Okay, so first my website, right?
Whatever you like.
Yes, if you want to connect with me, you can do it at sustainablefocus.co, like the starting of my name. And yeah, what I do, if you are interested, of course, in the attention and focus, I help people train attention and focus because, as Nikki said, we have a lot of agency on this. It's not that we have to just stay there and wait for everything that happens around us. We can build that agency. We can train that agency so that we can really enjoy, because I always think that attention is the way you create your world. You decide what is part of your world, what you want to experience. And basically it's really what exists in your life is what you pay attention to. So I think that it's worth thinking about it, especially now that we are like really under attack because it's too much information. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. And tell us what you thought of the show. What was your biggest takeaway today?
I love the show because like having more people, it really makes you feel it's a conversation. I really like the vibe. Also having Eric here, that brings also a very different perspective on attention applied. So it's really nice. It's really interesting to understand also from the production what happens, and also working with children. It's beautiful. And also talking together, we always learn something that we don't know, and we don't know a lot of things. So you really realize how much things you still have to know when you talk with people.
Absolutely.
It was
Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank you, Concetta. Thank you. Eric, you're up, buddy.
Yeah, just if you want to find out your personality type, visit me on utopiaproject.com. There's an assessment there, and that's Youtopia, like YouTube, like YOU. Because I do think that, speaking on agency again, when you first start a story, the most important thing that everyone needs to know within the protagonist or the antagonist is who are they? And once you know who they are, then you know what they want. And I think what you want is where that agency starts, but I think you need to know who you are first. So I think finding your personality type, especially people who feel a little different, hopefully maybe taking the test and figuring out what animal type you are will help you kind of connect with maybe what you've been feeling more in your life, and maybe less about the external factors that people are telling you what you should be.
Awesome. What was your thoughts on the show today? What was your takeaway?
No, it was a lot of fun, especially since I'm still waking up, but it's like around 7 now where I'm at. I'm getting there. Yeah, I enjoyed listening to everyone talk. It was great, and putting up with the random stuff that I would say. That is probably number one. So
Perfect. Thank you, buddy. Nikki, you are my dear.
Yes, and I'm Nikki Gangemi. You can connect with me. My website is my name, nikkigangemi.com. And I have a helpful tool that helps you to calm down the noise and the mental chaos so that you can focus. You can be more intentional about where you want to focus and make the decisions that are going to support your goals. And it's my Calm method. You can download it for free on my website.
Love it. What was your thoughts on today's show, Nikki?
Well, very interesting. I love the topic. And what I think I got out of it, and hopefully our listeners did too, is that you do have agency. I'll use that word instead of control, that you are in charge of how you choose to look at things. You could go to look at it as I'm going to go see a movie, or you can look at it like Sifu, that I'm going to have an experience. So we get to shape our experiences with what we choose to focus on.
Yeah, love it. I'm Sifu Rafael. Do me a favor, connect with everyone here. Such incredible human beings. I am blessed to know you all. My takeaway from the show is you need to live in the moment. You need to experience life. And thank you all for sharing that with me. And as you can tell, I love experiences. And if you want to connect with me, it's easy, really easy. sifurafael.com. And I have so many different ways that we can get together. let's have a conversation. That's all I ask, right? A conversation goes a long way. And thank you, everybody. Really thrilled that you made it here with us. And if you know somebody needs to hear the message today, share this show with someone. All right, everybody. God bless. Have a
Great
beautiful,
day.
beautiful rest of your day. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.